You're listening to Every Day's a Saturday USMC Veteran Podcast.
Now introducing your host of Every Day's a Saturday USMC Veteran, the one-man show Brian Roof.
Hey, what's going on, friends and family? Welcome to another great day, another great interview. We got a good one today. I promise you guys that. I had the opportunity to meet this guy on another podcast, my buddy and Willis and Candace host, which is called Homefront Sit Rep. If you guys haven't had a chance to go follow them, go give them a follow. But I had the opportunity to meet my next guest on there. He is a Marine. He's also a hip-hop artist, doing some amazing things out there, making some amazing music. And he's just an awesome dude, too. I mean, you guys are going to see that for yourself. We're going to get to learn all about him. He goes by the name of Th30ry, and that's Th30ry. All right. So if you guys, you'll see how it's spelled. But I hope you guys are all out there having an amazing day. If you guys haven't had a chance to go check out the website, go give it a check out, EDASUSMCvet.com. Also, make sure we're out there checking on our friends and loved ones, make sure they're all right, and make sure we also know about the Crisis Lifeline. If anybody out there struggling and you need to talk to someone, and you want to have a discreet conversation or something, maybe need help with some resources, go ahead and call 988 and press 1 and see what they can help you with. But we're not going to keep our next guest waiting any longer. Like I told you guys, he's a United States Marine veteran and a hip-hop artist. His name is Ryan Doerrfeld and goes by the name of Th30ry. Here he is. What's going on, brother?
Yo, how you doing?
Hey, man, I couldn't complain. And if I did, no one doesn't care. That's what they say, at least.
That's how we're supposed to feel, right?
Hell yeah. Well, brother, I'm excited to have you on the show, man. I've already had the opportunity to get to meet you and hear a little bit about you, but let's let the guests know all about you, like kind of where you grew up, bro, and what led you into the path of hitting the Marine Corps. Let's talk a little bit about what you did in the Marine Corps, and then when you got out of the Marine Corps, how did separations treat you, and what did you go through, and tell us how you ended up where you're at today. But the floor is yours, brother.
Oh, for sure, man. Thank you for the introduction as well. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
So I joined the Marine Corps in 2010. I'm born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, in the city. And if you haven't been able to tell, my huge Chicago sports flag back there, I'm a huge Cubs fan. I grew up right by Wrigley Field, so it was kind of embedded in my DNA. And then I joined the Marine Corps in 2010. It was my first time leaving home. I was 22 years old when I enlisted. 21 when I signed my contract, and then 22 when I left to boot camp. I left in November of 2010. I was gone for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's for the first time, and spent that in boot camp. Yeah, that sucked.
Damn, you went at a really bad time, bro. That was like all the main holidays right there.
Yeah, all the biggest ones that my family always wanted me to be home for, right? And I'd never missed any of those holidays, and now I'm getting screamed at, all day instead of spending, time with my loved ones. It sucked, but it is what it is. But yeah, I joined in 2010. I was active duty. My MOS was 6483. I was an electronic countermeasures technician. I worked on missile detection systems, radios, heads-up displays, things like that, that go on the Hueys and Cobras and the shitters. And then I EAS'd in 2015. I was stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina. I met my wife, my now wife. She's a Jacksonville native. So I was on New River Air Station, and we met in 2013. A year and a half later, my daughter was born with her, and it's kind of one of the biggest reasons why I decided to EAS. Just on the off chance that I get deployed and something happens to me, I don't want my daughter to grow up fatherless, and or have something terribly wrong with me, like missing limbs or something wrong in my head, kind of thing. I wanted to avoid all that, and family first for me always. So
that's why the Marines had that saying, bro. If they wanted you to have wife and kids, they would have issued you to them. You know what I mean? Because when you have them, it does change your perspective a lot, right? Like, all of a sudden you have something a little bit more to live for, and I get it.
It's definitely not something the Marine Corps wants you to have. Not saying I shouldn't say that they don't want you to have it, but it's very difficult. You know, you hear all those statistics
Preference
about.
wise, I would say they would say nah.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because you see all those statistics too with, you know, and it's so funny because in military towns, you know, Camp Lejeune is in Jacksonville, North Carolina, not only just New River Air Station, but Camp Lejeune takes up like 70% of the city. So it's like, you know, I don't know if you've ever been to Camp Lejeune, but you know, it's
Johnson is as far as I got in North Carolina. I went
Camp Camp Johnson's right there too. But like, you know, you hear the statistics about a military town, you know, all the women know the pay schedules before we even do, or like just as good as we do. You know, they know our benefits. They've been around, you know, they're natives there. So, you know, contract marriages and stuff, that's all a real thing. And it's like the statistics about the divorce rate in the military, and you know, you just see all these guys getting screwed out of their houses and out of their benefits, and now you got to give them half your disability, and you know, they're on your TRICARE and they're not doing shit for you. So it's like, you know, I wanted to stay away from that. I told myself, and I told my wife at the time before we ever got married, I was like, look, I'm not getting married while I'm active duty. That's just not happening. You know, I don't care if I got to live in the barracks. I give a shit about that. I live there for free and I get free food. So I care less. But when our daughter was born, it definitely, like you said, it changed my perspective on life a lot. And, you know, it kind of gave me a bigger purpose than just, you know, serving. So I was like, you know, I'm going to get out. So I actually had, I had done a VERP, to get out. It's a voluntary enlisted early release program, and my MOS qualified for it. So I decided to get out 163 days early. And then I could do up to 360 days early, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So then I decided to, do the 163, and then I had 30 days of
this was on your
leave.
first enlistment. They let you do this?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah. I was at a 5-year contract because
right, because Air Wing,
my school, it was
yeah.
a year long for my A&C school for that whole process. So they tacked on an extra active duty year and took off one for my inactive ready reserve. So I verped out. I was supposed to EAS November 15th of 2015. But I got out April 10th with my my, you know, terminal leave and everything that I had saved up, and I officially EAS'd on June 1st of 2015. My wife and we still hadn't been married at this point. We decided to stay in Jacksonville and live there because I really had no desire to go back home to Chicago at that point, because, you know, I wanted to be with our daughter and she didn't want to live in the city. So we tried to do it in 2017, didn't work out. And so we moved back to Jacksonville after we left Chicago, and
back to good old Rudy Poo, Jacksonville, North Carolina.
It's the worst place on planet Earth, dude. I swear to God. But
dude,
that
place was rough.
Yeah. We went back there in April of 2018. And in September of 2018, the Hurricane Florence came through the Carolinas, and we were in Onslow County. You know, where we were living, we were only about 10 miles from Topsail Beach, which is right on the coast. And they were like, you're under a mandatory evacuation right now for this hurricane. Like, it's supposed to hit as a Category 5, which is like Hurricane Katrina type shit. So I was like, well, we're not staying. So I told my wife, and I was like, we're grabbing the kids and we're leaving, and we'll go wait out the storm somewhere. We'll go to, you know, fucking, I don't care. We'll go visit family in Chicago, you know, that I have, and we'll stay there for a week. And once the storm passes, we'll go right back and we'll continue on our life. But we ended up coming to Louisville, and that's where I'm at right now, Louisville, Kentucky. I've been here since, but while we were here, we were staying at a hotel. We were only staying for. Now,
what led you to the Kentucky? I mean, so that's kind of an odd place to go. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, no, it was definitely very random. But my wife has a friend. His name's Hunter. She calls him her GBF, her gay best friend. And I love Hunter to death. He's awesome guy. He's such a great friend, such a great person. And he lived here and grew up here. He lived in Jacksonville, North Carolina with his mom. And that's how I met him, and that's how my wife met him. but he had decided to move back to Louisville, Kentucky with his dad. And so we were going to just kind of hang out with him. But then halfway to Louisville from North Carolina, after we left to wait out that storm, we find out that he doesn't have the room anymore for 5 people. So we were like, well, shit. So my family actually, thankfully, had come up with like a little GoFundMe kind of thing, and they all pitched my mom some money, and my mom got like $500 raised for us to have this hotel room for, X amount of time. And so we stayed there for about 6 days at the hotel, but found out that the place we were renting back in Jacksonville got messed up during the hurricane, and the neighborhood around our house, like the neighborhood that we were living in, was like window deep in water, and they were like sending pontoon boats to go like help people. Damn. So we were like, we got nowhere to go. So we stayed in a Red Cross shelter, and then 5 days later, they were like, we're closing down this shelter because we got to head to the coast to go help people. So here's a debit card with $985 on it. Good luck. Oh, and gosh, so we were like, well, what the fuck? So, couldn't catch a break. So, and mind you, it's me, my wife. We still weren't married at the time, but it was me.
Did you guys lose everything in that shit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We had just
what you guys left a lot of stuff behind, huh?
Yeah, man. My Marine Corps uniforms, all sorts of stuff. I have some bottoms of my camis, and I have my woodland cap up there, right there. But besides that, I have some desert bottoms and I have some woodland bottoms, but all my official like full cami uniforms were all in my body bag, my dress blues, my alphas, my bravos, everything. They were all in my body bag, and that's down in North Carolina. Luckily, though, we have a friend who who used to stay in Jacksonville. She's in the Navy now, but she put a lot of our stuff, like my uniforms, in her storage. So we still have those. We just have to go pick them up, and we haven't been able to really
go back,
meet up because she's always gone.
Have you guys just not even gone back since it's? I mean, you guys really have. Okay.
Yeah, we've gone back. When we got married, because we got married on July 30th of 2022. Because between that time, we were engaged. We weren't ever married at that point. So after we left the Red Cross shelter, we went to another hotel. We used the debit card that the Red Cross shelter gave us, got 2 weeks at this hotel. It was exactly $980 for the 2 weeks at this hotel. So we were like, we're lucky as shit right now. It was almost like it was meant to happen. So like, it kept us hopeful. And then luckily my wife found Volunteers of America, and Volunteers of America is a veteran run. They have a department for veterans. That's a veteran run department in that organization. And they help displaced veterans find housing due to natural disasters. So because I stayed at a Red Cross shelter and I was a disabled veteran, I qualified for their help. So they got us into the program and basically told us, find an apartment or whatever you want to rent. We will pay for your security deposit. We will pay for your first 3 months rent. We will pay for your first 3 months of water and electricity. We will pay for your first, bit of, cleaning ware, cooking ware, silverware. We'll get you beds, bed sheets, pillows, frames, all that stuff.
Get you started.
So, yeah, they
back on their feet, huh?
They were amazing, man. Without them, we wouldn't, we wouldn't have had shit. So, God knows where we would be, but they helped us out a lot, man. And granted, it wasn't in the greatest neighborhood. We were staying in Iroquois Manor, which is kind of, it's not terrible, but it's not great. And so we were really wanting to kind of get out of there. And then we moved into a house to rent instead of an apartment. And then another house after about a year staying there. The owner wanted to sell the house. So he was like, you guys have 30 days. I'm going to sell this house. And if you don't want to buy it, then I'm sorry. So we were like, all right, that's fine. At least, you were upfront about it with us. So he gave us some time. We actually got 2 months to find a place, and we finally found a place. And so we found another house, and we stayed there for 3 years. And now we're living in this new house, and we're going to stay here for a while, up until I end up wanting to use my VA home loan and buy a house. But we're taking care of some financial stuff first, cleaning up the credit and getting all this stuff taken care of, because now getting a house is a fucking nightmare. So,
and you guys went through a real wind of problems, right? I mean,
yeah,
that was a huge setback in your life, dude. I mean,
huge, dude.
You guys lost a lot of stuff. Now, did you guys ever make it back to the house to go observe and see how much damage, or you never even
we just washed our hands of Jacksonville pretty much, man. We had everything that we really truly needed as far as clothes and belongings, and like phones, phone chargers, things like that. We had the necessities to be able to survive. But we were only, at the time when we were living in the hotel and the Red Cross shelters, or the hotels and the Red Cross shelter, we were only living off of my disability. And I'm 40% right now. I'm fighting to get that raised. I'm just waiting on the VA to give me my decision now. But it's looking hopeful. So I'm, fingers crossed that actually happens and I get
Is it
an increase.
Your first go around, or
it's my third.
Is a pill? Okay.
Yeah. So I actually had to start fresh for this third time. And I went to a private doctor that is not
affiliated
with the VA. Yeah.
Right.
So that way I get an honest, and not saying that the VA doctors aren't real doctors, because they obviously are, but like I feel like it's very biased when you go through the VA.
Definitely depends on, yeah. Especially if you go down to the VA actual department. I think for me, I had to do a lot of outsourcing because because I live by LA, but like I'm far away enough from LA where it puts me outside the range. So they let me do the independent things where I can kind of go to someone. Well, it's still under their network though. I mean,
yeah. I went to somebody completely out of the network. They're not affiliated with the VA. They work with a company that is contracted through the VA. The company is called VetLink Solutions, and now it's Medical, REE Medical. But they have private doctors that they sent me to, and they went through an in-depth questionnaire with me. I went and did my range of motion test for my shoulder and my back, which are the two things that we're really working on getting, because those have gotten significantly worse over the years. And so the doctor's like, yeah, you need to get something for this. I can guarantee you that they're going to push you up, because this is bad. Like, compared to what I'm looking at for your records to now, it's not very good. So she was like, we should be able to help you. So yeah. So, but
it's safe to say, bro, you're transitioning out of getting out of the military was kind of a rough start.
Damn. It was, man. Brand new kid, and
you guys are trying to, kind of make a family, and then you have, good old Mother Nature come and wash things away, bro.
Yeah,
like, so to speak.
Literally.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely a rough transition, man. I think that the pressure makes diamonds, though, right? So, in the Marine Corps, you're taught. You already know, right? You're taught not to give up, don't quit.
Fight up the hill, man.
Yeah, you just got to war cry through it and fucking do your thing. So that's exactly what I did, because that's what I was conditioned to do. I don't really know any other way. I don't remember feeling any other way now. So it's like,
so it's probably good that it happened when it did too, though, because you were kind of mentally ready already, because you were still marined out right there, for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was definitely, the hurricane didn't happen for a few years after I had already gotten out, but that mentality stays with you forever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, I luckily, excuse me, luckily I had my disability at least to go off of, but at 40% at that time, back in 2018, I was only making $640 a month. Mm-hmm. So supporting 5 people on $640 a month is damn near impossible. So I had to get I got some bullshit job. We were struggling really bad financially, and I had a really bad anxiety attack because of all this. I couldn't keep up with my car payments. My car payments were $500 a month. So I couldn't make it. So
there goes, yeah, you like 100 some bucks left after all that.
yeah,
Oh,
I
shit,
mean,
dude.
and realistically, like even with my job, I was making like 300 a week. So it was like, you know, what am I? The minimum wage in Louisville or in Kentucky is 7.25.
Yeah, you weren't
So
even making enough to live. Like,
no,
I
I
mean, at that
wasn't.
point,
So really, when my rent is $1,085 or $985, and it comes down to, am I going to make my car payment or am I going to pay my rent and get groceries? So
and your car gets you to where you got to go make the money,
yeah.
right?
So I
Like,
was
it's a
so
real chick
conflicted.
22 right there, bro.
Yeah. So I was so conflicted. So like, it was, my car got repossessed because of that. And so it was a voluntary repossession. Like, it didn't count
Yeah,
as anything super
no,
bad with my
that's good.
credit, but it
You're just
still
like, I
hit my
can't do
credit.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I called the bank and I was like, look, man, I'm not going to lie to you. I know I'm behind like going on 3 months on payments. This is why. If you guys have any kind of aid that you can give me right now, that would be great. And they were like, honestly,
Just give it back.
yeah, you might as well, because you're still like 11 grand left on the loan. So they were like, just go ahead and throw the white flag. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. So because the aid they could give me was like, they could make me current, but then I would still be due for that third month and I couldn't afford the $500. So I was like, I'm just gonna fucking give it back. So I gave it back.
Yeah, bro. That
And
that that, that right there is like basically running on a treadmill. You're
yeah,
just trying to keep
you're
up,
moving,
and
but you're not going anywhere.
yeah, 100%. And that
Yeah.
that bill is just still always going to hover there, and you're going to be like, gosh, damn, what's short this month?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, and it was just
that's a
really
big bill.
deflating. Yeah, and it
You
was
got car
deflating.
insurance on
And
top of the shit, right? I mean,
yep,
it ain't just some car note.
yeah, and Kentucky has some. They're in the top 3 or 5 highest car insurance rates in the country.
Fools be
Because
driving crazy out there or what? Dude,
well,
damn.
it's mostly because of carjackings. Especially in Louisville, there's a lot of like car break-ins and carjackings and stuff like that. So it's like these insurance companies are catching wind of that over the years, and they're like, all right, now if you live in this area, you're going to pay a little bit more. So my car insurance was like $380, and on top of a $500 car payment, there's 90% of my monthly income for
Is that
2 things.
$380 a month or no?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
I was
it's
thinking maybe
bad.
a 6-month
Oh,
period or
fuck no.
something.
I wish. I
Shit.
wish.
Yeah, dude.
No,
Damn.
it's expensive to live for car insurance here, man. And even
Because you're in
now,
the
like,
bigger city, I guess, too, right? I mean,
yeah. And Louisville's not a bad city. It's not like ghetto or anything, but there are quite a few
it's a high
questionable
city, yeah.
areas, and the crime rate can get a little bit, much. Which our neighborhood that we live in now, it's a very nice neighborhood, very quiet. We're not worried about any of that here. Thankfully. But in our old neighborhood when we first moved here, it was something all the time. Somebody got shot right up the corner right where I used to live. Somebody got stabbed right out front of my apartment, like, mugged and
Start
stabbed.
standing guard on that motherfucker.
Yeah, so I started walking around with my pistol on my hip.
Right? Hell
Kentucky
yeah,
at the
dude.
time, it was you could open carry. You didn't need a permit or nothing. And now it's a constitutional carry state where you can carry concealed without a concealed carry permit.
Ooh,
So yeah, so it's
nice.
great. Yeah, so I walk around with my
Fuck around
pistol
and
all the time.
find out over there.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
So I walk around with my pistol all the time, but uh, you know, luckily we've never had to deal with any break-ins or anything. Knock on wood that it stays that way. But it was just a really rough, few years, man. And so after my car got repossessed and I gave it back, I had a really bad anxiety attack, man, because I was
Your
so
mental health probably was fucked at
it
this
was
point,
fucked.
dude.
This is only a
Yeah.
few months after, the hurricane, and like I had to literally pick up my entire life and my family's entire life and start somewhere where I knew one person, and it was just really rough, and that turmoil caused some problems with my relationship, and all these things started kind of just hitting me at
Fuck
once,
yeah.
and my brain just went and just exploded, and I got pale, and I remember I was sitting next to my wife. This is also before we got married, and this was in 2019, in February of 2019. The exact date was February 6th. I remember it like it was yesterday. But I was sitting with my wife on the couch, and we were talking, and all of a sudden she looked at me and she's like, "You're really pale." And I was like, what do you mean? And when she told me I was pale, that's when I started to freak out.
Panic,
And I started noticing that my fingers were tingly, my toes were tingly. I was short on breath, felt like a 600-pound man was sitting on my chest. I couldn't catch my breath. I started getting dizzy, and my heart was, it felt like it was going to beat out of my chest. So I was like, am I dying right now? Like, I feel like I'm having a heart attack. And so I told her, I'm like, call 911 because I don't feel right. Like something's not right. And so the ambulance came, and they came in the house. And by that time I felt all right. And it still scared me though. And so the guy's like, look, we came here. You have an option to not come in, but I'm going to recommend that you come in. So I went into the hospital. They took me in the ambulance. I got rushed out on a stretcher in front of my daughter, who was 3 at the time, and my wife. They're both bawling, and I'm sitting there like, I'm okay, but I'm really not okay. And
did you just feel you felt horrible?
I felt terrible, dude. I felt like I was dying, like legitimately dying, and like
never felt that way ever before.
Never,
huh?
dude, never. So like I was in the ambulance, and I'm laying down, and I'm like, no, I want them to come with me. So they get in the ambulance with me, and the guys got me hooked up to this EKG, and that already makes me feel panicked even more. And every time the ambulance would bump a little bit, the guy would go, ooh. And he would be staring at my screen at my EKG, and I'd be like, "Ooh, what's wrong? What's wrong? Did you see something? Am I okay? Am I gonna die? Am I this?" And I'm
panicking
freaking
more.
out.
You just
Dude,
totally
it was
panicking,
so
dude.
bad, dude. And like I've never had that before in my entire life. So I was freaking out, and I get to the hospital. They get me in a room, and the doctor comes and sees me, and he leaves for a little bit more, and then he comes back and he looks at my chart, and he's like, look, man, he's like, you're healthy as an ox. He's like, your heart is very healthy. Your lungs are at 100%. Your all your blood work and everything came back just fine. There's literally nothing wrong with you. Your vitamin D is a little bit low, but there's nothing wrong with you. So you're healthy. It was stress. Has anything been stressing you out lately? And I told him, where do you want me to fucking start? Right? Yeah. So I told him, a short version of what I've just explained to you. And he was like, yeah, that'll do it. So you need to figure out a way to healthily cope with this anxiety. Otherwise, the next time you might not be so lucky. Stress for males in your age group is a silent killer. And it is a huge statistic for males between the age of 25 and 40 to die from stress. It causes heart attacks. It is clinically proven. So he's like, I don't want you to become a statistic. And you're a veteran. Thank you for your service. You need to take care of your mental health. So because of that, he had somebody from the VA come in and talk to me, and, had to ask me all the, regular questions. Do you ever feel like hurting yourself? Do you ever feel like hurting anybody else? And blah, 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 blah. Have you in the last 6 months ever thought about ending your life? And I'm just like, no. Like, they ask you these questions, and I know they have to, but like, whatever. So after I got out of the hospital, I went home, and I was like, I was talking to my buddy about it. My buddy that I worked with at the time, I was the manager at a vape shop. And I was like, what am I going to do, man? I don't know what to do to curb this. And that fear of dying never went away. And it still hasn't. Like, I still have anxiety now. I have better ways to cope with it now. But he was like, well, you always said that you were good at poetry and you wanted to write poetry. Why don't you start, and even doing music? So why don't you start doing that? And I was like, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to try it. So I sat down and I looked up some Mac Miller type beats, because I'm a huge Mac Miller fan. So I looked up Mac Miller type beats on YouTube, and I started writing just a poem to one of his beats that were real mellow and, peaceful sounding. And I noticed that the more that I wrote, the more I was not focusing on my stress, and I was focusing on what I can say to put my feelings out there and kind of convert that negative energy that I'm having into something positive and productive. Right. And it totally changed my perspective. And I fell in love with it, man. And I let a buddy of mine hear it, what I wrote, and he was like, bro, like, this is good. Like, you have a gift for this. Like, this, if this is just you just bullshitting, like, you need to pursue this, man. Really try to put some effort into it. Let me take you to a studio and you can lay this down. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I go to this studio and I record it. And the guy he's like, do you have any full songs? And I'm just like, oh yeah. And I'm like, just play this beat. I sent him the beat in an email, and I'm like, and just let me do my thing. And I had never been to a studio to record before. So he was like, all right. He presses record. The beat starts playing, and I went 4.5 minutes straight without stopping. And he was, and after I was done, he paused the music. He stops the recording, and he looks at me, and he's just like,
now, have you been practicing and shit, dude, before? I mean, like, I mean, how have you ever, had experience with that kind of stuff? I mean,
so to be honest with you, I didn't really have any experience with rap. I had experience with talking speaking my poetry, just from school and whatnot. But I had always been a fan of hip hop. From my early childhood, single digit age, like 6, 7 years old, my aunt would always play like a lot of the old school rap, NWA and Run DMC and, Mace and Tupac and Biggie and, Bone Thugs and Harmony and all that. Stuff. Yeah. The good shit. Right. And like, I'd always been a fan of it. And, Rakim was another big one. I still, to this day, I think he's one of the greats. And, I've always had a love for and a connection with hip hop music, and it's always kind of spoke to me. And the idea of me doing it was something that I never really thought of, but I always recited their words. So like, Eminem, when I first heard Eminem, I was like, this guy is fucking incredible. And I started trying to rap along to his lyrics, and, I would recite and recite and recite. And if I fucked up a bar, I would start the whole song over, and then I'd practice it again. And I would get better at reciting it. And then I would practice and that's how I would practice my breath control to be able to,
that's a good one to try, man. Gosh damn, yeah, because that fool spits.
Yeah. And so that's how I practiced it. So over the years, I had that, if you want to call that practice, but, I had recited other artists' lyrics for so long, and then Logic is a huge inspiration for me, musically, and just his message and his music for peace, love, and positivity, and just being unapologetically you, and like all this stuff. Like, I love his music. His whole catalog's great. He's dropping a new album on Friday, which is my daughter's birthday, and I've been waiting for this album from him for like 10 years. So I'm really fucking excited about it. And yeah, so I practiced Logic's lyrics. I practiced Joyner Lucas's lyrics. I practiced Big Sean's lyrics. I practiced Eminem. I practiced a whole bunch of artists. And eventually I was like, all right, I could do this. After I got that kind of, salute from friends of mine that were like, you're good. Then I was like, let's go ahead and give this a shot. And so I started writing more songs, and now 5 years later, I'm here, and I've never felt more sure about anything that I've been pursuing in my entire life. Like, when I was younger in high school, I played basketball, and I wanted to be a professional basketball player. And then, in my junior and senior year, I started skateboarding, and I skated for like 6, 7 years. And I was like, I want to be a professional skateboarder. And I was really good, and I got sponsored, and I was like, this is what I'm going to do, and blah, 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 blah. And then I joined the Marine Corps, and it's like, I'm going to do 20 fucking years, and I'm going to retire at 42. And this is my calling, and like all these different things and life paths that I had gone down. And I had a feeling, but with music, it was like, this is it. Like, this is what I need to do. Like,
it's calling.
Yeah, man. And I feel like I didn't even find it. I feel like it found me. And that's what makes it such a different feeling than anything else that I did, because I found basketball, and I found that I enjoyed it, and I found that I enjoyed skateboarding, and I found the courage to enlist in the United States Marine Corps. And I pursued all of these things, but like really music just kind of found me. And so almost like Venom, right? Now, I'm a Marvel nerd, right? So like almost like Venom, when the symbiote kind of hits somebody and it just fucking overtakes you, like it finds you and it just, you know, you turn into this alter ego of yourself. And it gave me a voice for me to talk my feelings, for me to talk my experiences. And music is a very powerful tool also for other people, because you're not alone in feeling the way that you feel 99.99999% of the time. There's somebody else out there that can relate to what you're saying. So if I can explain my stresses and my anxiety and put that out there for the world and how I coped with it and like different things that I would do to try and get myself around these hard situations, it can help somebody else too. You know, and just like how I listen to certain artists and certain songs that make me feel better, you know, stress wise, you know, we all have that, where we have those artists that are like, you know, if you're feeling angry, you put on some crazy heavy metal, or if you're this, you know, you put on this artist or that band or whatever, and it makes you feel better. I want to be able to do that for other people too. And I do that for other people. I'm told that all the time. So it's just something different, man. And I love what I do. I love the artists that I've met, you know, and there's so much talent in my circle of people that I know. And I wouldn't take it back for the world, man. Even though a lot of that stuff leading up to this road was very, very stressful and very hard and very emotionally, you know, damaging. I wouldn't change a single thing, man.
Hell yeah, brother. We're going to go ahead and listen to one of I feel like this is one of your newer ones, right? I mean,
yeah, it came out. That one came out, I think May, something like early May. But yeah, Falling from Grace it's a more personal song where I'm kind of talking more about the industry and you know, the outlook that people have on the industry, where if you're a musician, especially, I speak from a musician's, you know, point of view, obviously, but it can work for all different, you know, different crafts that people do. But just kind of feeling like you need to change to appeal to the masses and get people to like you. And sometimes, you know, you might find yourself doing things that you don't necessarily like or want to do, but you feel like you have to in order to get somewhere. And it makes you feel like you're kind of falling away from yourself. So that's kind of what this song's about. So
yeah, dude, let's go ahead and play it up. Do we have your permission?
No. Yeah, of course you do.
Does every day a Saturday USMC veteran have your permission to play your songs?
Absolutely. I created this instrumental myself, so there's no copyright infringement that's pending or anything. So you're good.
Sweet. All right, here we go. Let's should play the right one. All right, here we go.
But I don't really even know what I've been trying to prove. It feels like I've been falling from grace.
Yeah. Can't seem to escape this fate. Try pleasing the masses just to be told that my music ain't even great. It's way below average, people so cold, and how many followers you get defining success. It's crazy to think how I do what I love for a living, but somehow I still don't feel blessed. Ain't get enough views on that clip that I posted a week ago. God damn, must mean that I suck. Meanwhile, the video trending right now is a girl on the gram saying she down to get fucked. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I'm posting my content, crossing my fingers for luck, and hoping they playing my songs, but hundreds of streams will still only get you $1. So how in the hell do I win? Do I change who I am? Do I put out an album by selling drugs, fucking bitches, foreign cars, all the riches, gang, Glocks and switches? Maybe they'll love it and I can go viral, but is the fame worth it if I'm losing myself in the process, forcing my heart and my head in a downward spiral?
I feel like I've been losing myself for far too long. Far too long. Far too long. I don't really even know what I've been trying to do. It seems like I've been floating away. You love me, then you love me not. These feelings gon' put me in the grave, but I don't really even know what I've been trying to prove. It feels like I've been falling from grace. I won't lose myself just to prove myself to the people that don't want me to change. But I gotta adapt, the old way don't work no more, so I gotta change up the grind before I get left behind. I'm already midway to 40 and worried I'll never be hitting my prime. You tell me to always stay true to myself, but then when I do it, I'm wasting my time. Just give me a sign. I don't wanna change, don't wanna conform, but I know I gotta do something and soon, cause then if I don't, I'm breaking the norm. And fuck social media, all of that hatred been bringing me down. I go to perform and post up a reel to show how I did, then get all these messages about how I'm corny. Nobody does that, you should just stop. Put out the song, I bet you it flops. Hang up the mic, your flow is too basic, no wonder your Spotify listeners dropped. This is the shit that I get for pursuing my passion, thinking one day I'm a pop, and maybe I might, but all that I know is I'm gonna continue to rise to the top. I ain't losing myself. I don't really even know what I've been trying to do. It seems like I've been floating away. You love me, then you love me not. These feelings gon' put me in the grave, but I don't really even know what I've been trying to prove. It feels like I've been falling from grace. I won't lose myself just to prove myself to the people that don't want me to change. I don't really even know what I've been trying to do. It seems like I've been floating away. You love me, then you love me not. These feelings gon' put me in the grave, but I don't really even know what I've been trying to prove. It feels like I've been falling from grace. I won't lose myself just to prove myself to the people that don't want me to change.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's a good
great
one, man. Thanks for playing that.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
got a
that song
couple
meant
more
a lot
queued
to
up
me.
that we're gonna be playing
Sweet.
here, but you know what? Where do you get your inspiration for your songs? Well, I mean, you write most of all your music and do your beats, or you do a lot of collaboration, or a little bit of both.
So I mean a little bit of both, but the writing, I do all my own writing. I don't let anybody write for me. I'm a very firm, being a hip hop head, at heart, and appreciating the love for the craft of rap. It's just rhythm and poetry. That's the rap acronym. It's rhythm and poetry. So it's like, when it comes to ghostwriters, right? That's kind of usually frowned upon in the hip hop industry. But a lot of people do it because, you get,
Cut
people
corners.
who, yeah, well, I mean, it's not, I wouldn't even really say cutting corners. It's just, some people are okay with getting that inspiration from somebody who is creative and, I get inspiration from other people, right? Like, Berserk, being my roommate, also, and a very talented artist himself. Excuse me. He'll throw some ideas at me and I'll be like, ooh, that's good. Like that. I'm gonna go with that. But as far as like writing lyrics for me, like I won't have anybody do that for me. No, it takes away from, in my eyes, not saying everybody has to feel the same way, but in my eyes, when it comes to rap music, it takes away from the craft and the creativity and the originality. So you're not able to really tell your story or put your thoughts out if there's somebody else's words. So I write all my own stuff. Occasionally I'll make my own beats, like Falling from Grace I made myself. But I do record myself all the time. So all the songs that you hear from me, I'm recording myself, mixing my own vocals, mastering my own music. I'm in my studio right now. You're only seeing a portion of it, but I have my microphone right here. It's usually in the corner right here. It's in between the two walls, that are soundproofed with the insulation and the moving blankets. It's like a dead room in here for the acoustics purpose. But yeah, I record myself, mix and master my own music. Occasionally I'll make my own beats. I'm getting a little more into making my own beats because I'm actually a full-time student at Full Sail University studying audio engineering and music production. So making beats is going to be something that I'm going to be doing all of at some point.
Nice.
But I'll still collaborate with other producers that, make beats and whatnot. I'm not saying that I'll never do that again. Like Freak Show, the song that you're queuing up right now, that was a beat made by an industry guy, his team, Anno Domini Nation. when I was young and coming up and first starting, I bought a bunch of beat packs from these guys, and this was one of those beats, and it's a phenomenal beat. And Joey heard it, Berserk, and he was like, "Yo, let's do something to this." So I actually wrote my verse and I wrote the hook, but I didn't want to sing. I didn't want to rap the hook. I was like, I hear your voice on the hook. So I wrote the words for the hook, the chorus, but he did it. And then he wrote his verse for it, and it just became a super awesome party song. So
hell yeah, you guys definitely got a vibe together.
yeah,
let's go ahead and cue this one up. This is one of my favorite ones. I was bumping this several times this morning.
Yeah.
Here we go.
A music video for this is going to be coming out at some point soon too.
Hell yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Come on, come on, step right up and enjoy the wonders of the one and only Freak Show.
Look, got the crowd going crazy, turning up, everybody getting wasted, blowing loud, we gon' get this bitch hazy, know we stay wavy, about to turn the club to a freak show. Yeah, about to turn the club to a freak show. About to turn the club to a freak show.
Y'all know how we do it, stay in heat mode. Everybody got their hands up whenever heat flow. I'm on another level, I don't even need a cheat code. What they mad at me for? They won't meet nobody that can do it like me. That's why my shit be on repeat mode. Gringo, killing the game, I ain't hit my peak though. Haters wanna talk, I'ma tell them to keep their beat closed. 2 bitches, I'ma need at least 4. Got them thirsty as a motherfucker when the beat go. About to go get myself a bottle, no stopping till I'm at the bottom of it. Got them all on my cock, ain't no option, they know they gotta love it.
Got the crowd going crazy, turning up, everybody getting wasted, blowing loud, we gon' get this bitch hazy, know we stay wavy, about to turn the club to a freak show. About to turn the club to a freak show. Yeah, about to turn the club to a freak show. Crazy, put a bitch in delete mode. I've been locked in the game like G4. I don't hear a sneak diss, I don't repost. We just show up, get the money, and then we coast off to the next lick, looking like a spectic. Bag after bag, set list after set list. Welcome to the freak show, turn it up reckless. If it ain't love, get the fuck out my section. 2 drinks down, I'ma need at least 4. Gotta get it grounded for the kind of weed we roll. Light it up and pass it, no hassle, just get the dragon. I'ma always make it happen, no capping. I got the magic, what up? Got the crowd going crazy, turning up, everybody getting wasted, blowing loud, we gon' get this bitch hazy, know we stay wavy, about to turn the club to a freak show. About to turn the club to a freak show. About to turn the club to a freak show.
Yeah, that's a good one. You're muted.
That one's a banger.
Yeah,
It just is, dude.
It's a crowd favorite, man.
Gosh damn, hell yeah, that is one. Like, play that at the club, dude. Like,
yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of my music kind of talks about struggle and anxiety and stress, and I got to a point where I was like, I kind of want to talk about something different, and I started rapping more so about my my skill set and how I feel like I'm slept on, and I'm better than you guys are giving me credit for, this, that, and the other. And it was just this whole thing. And I still do, throw jabs at, there just to kind of flex the pen a little bit and show off my talent for the craft and my wordplay. But for the most part, I felt like we really needed to have something that was a crowd pleaser. And I'm now 8 months sober off alcohol. And I don't plan on going back. I actually enjoy it so much more, but I don't smoke weed. I used to. I was a huge pothead, and there's nothing against marijuana users. I don't care,
no,
whatever.
There's not.
My wife is a very avid user. So, but I mean, I don't do that anymore. I feel like the paranoia kind of sets in. I don't enjoy it the way I used to. It doesn't calm me down really. It just makes me more anxious.
Right.
So, I've replaced all those things with music. So now if I'm feeling anxious, I do music. If I'm feeling stressed out, I go to the studio, I do music. If I, if I ever feel like
it's your,
yeah, it's
your
my
coping
outlet.
magazine. Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, but we still wanted to make a club banger, you know, and when I want to get into those zones, I kind of write from a perspective where how I used to feel, right, when I was in that zone, like, you know, we about to get wasted, you know, all that, like, kind of, I remember, you know, my party days, you know, when I would do that. So like writing about that, you know, it's mainly just for the crowd pleasing aspect. And they're fun to, you know, have people dance to and play at parties and clubs and whatnot. So, you know, nothing wrong. Actually, the funny thing about Freak Show, we were at a silent disco here in Louisville last year. And it was a Halloween silent disco. And I don't know if you know what a silent disco is, right?
Is that the one where you wear headphones, but
Yeah.
they're playing music in there? And it's
But there's nothing in
Right.
the bar or the venue. There's no music. It's just like if you take your headphones off, it's so
it's
funny.
dead ass silent. You hear
Yeah.
certain of the people's sneakers. It's
Yeah. You'll hear people talking and whatnot, but like it's so funny. So like, but you put the headphones on and it's like they have 3 different colors. So they have like red for like adult music, like party music, and they have blue for, you know, mainstream pop music, and then they have green for like more kid friendly shit. And we were on the red channel at the silent disco and they played Freak Show while we were there, and I was like and like you could look around and see everybody else on the red and like they're bobbing their heads and dancing. We were like, yeah, that's awesome, bro. So it was a cool little experience. But yeah, man, I mean, I like making music like that. I like making music that's fun, you know, gets the crowd hype, you know, especially for live performances too. You know, that tends to work, you know, getting the crowd in that zone where they want to enjoy your performance, and it's more energetic. So I like doing songs like that too. But yeah, Freak Show is great. Berserk and I have a very good dynamic. A lot of people really compliment us on our collaborations because we have quite a few of them.
You do. Yeah, man. Yeah, you guys definitely vibe together real good.
Yeah, and a lot of people say it's because of the dynamics of the voices, because he has that real deep, like, and I have the more high pitched, and so we complement each other very well on a song, and we use that to our advantage. So, you know, one of those things. Live on FTB radio.
Yeah, this is a good one too, man.
Yeah, I love this one.
Definitely, this is a good one. This is your newest album right here, right? Carpe Diem is the latest one. Okay.
Yeah, Carpe Diem is it was actually a sequel to my very first album. When I wrote Carpe Noctem was my first album that I ever put out in November of 2019. I put it out on the Marine Corps birthday, November 10th, 2019, and I was just in a really rough, you know, as I was explaining earlier, I was in a really rough space, you know, mentally and emotionally during, you know, my first, you know, little bit of doing music, and in a very negative and dark place, mentally and emotionally. So the Carpe Noctem album was, you know, it means seize the night, you know, in Latin. So it's like, you know, it was very dark and ominous cover for the album. And, you know, 5 years later, you know, I'm in the happiest and most positive place I've ever been at in my life. So I wanted to do the other side of that coin and do Carpe Diem, and, you know, just rap about happy shit and, you know, where I'm at mentally and emotionally right now. Yeah. So it's, and, you know, you can obviously tell with the cover art, you know, I'm trying to make it very positive looking and very bright and very happy, you know, with the doves flying around, the birds flying around, and like, you know, person standing by the tree. I actually had to Photoshop that little silhouette of a person in there. But yeah, I made it purposely like, you know, the cover art like that. So that way it would kind of be the other side of that dark coin.
I love it. Let's go ahead and give it a listen.
Yeah, this is a good one.
You guys are in for a treat.
Music video for this coming too.
It's your host with the most. This is FTB Radio, and we've been kicking it with our man Th30ry. And you know I gotta get a 16 before you go, brother. You know I gotta get a verse.
Oh man, why you put me on the spot?
Yo, I was thinking about you, and I think you're gonna like this one right here.
Oh,
hey, turn his headphones up for him.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, I fuck with this one for sure.
What can I say? What can I say? I know how to pick them. Do your thing.
right, listen. Yeah, all the work that I put in is finally paying off. From the bottom to playing sold out shows, we taking off.
Okay.
Taking flights to Salt Lake City, we gazing off into the sky above the clouds. Next day, we racing off, that's on to the next. Limited rest, shit, I sleep when I'm dead. Until that day, I'm out here getting this bread. I chose this life and I ain't gotta pretend, cause they know I'm about it. Just listen to the words that I've said. Yeah, I've achieved it all through hard work and manifestation. So many laughed when I told them my dream, and now it's real, so they try hopping on the train, but it's already left the station. I bet they still in the crowd when I tour the nation. Built a strong foundation and some relations with the right people to help me make it up out the basement. Took my aggravation and put it into the bars, and now my team got so many stars, you can call us a constellation. Yeah, this is celebration cause we close to our destination. My competition been trash, they reached the expiration. These other rappers need to stop, I smell the desperation. They wishing they were in my shoes, will try and fit my J's then. Cause I've been making moves, hit the pavement hard, but I've been running ever since. Cause I love the shit and it feels amazing. Being on a stage or a booth and they hear me crush the beat and give the stank face while they telling me that I'm going places. Just gotta put in the work and filter out the hatred. Do what makes you happy and fuck everyone who says you ain't it. They think they made it cause they went and got a playlist placement, but they probably paid for it. I'll get on cause my bars are sacred. Real, recognize real, and that's a fact. It don't matter if you dead broke or your pockets is fat. You don't get respect in this game if everything you spit is whack. Let's bring it back to when the lyrics meant something and wasn't capped. Just because you get a check, it don't mean that you good at rap. You probably had somebody write every word, so I'ma keep on doing me. If you don't like it, then I'm flipping the bird. I'll let success talk, mark all of my words. Fuck what you heard, yeah.
My man, hey! I knew you was gonna come with it, but
Yeah,
I didn't
you
think you was
already
gonna
know.
come like that.
I ain't done though.
Okay.
Yeah, cause I ain't never said something was gonna happen and it didn't come true. I'm thankful and I know it's all cause of you. Without the love and dedication from every one of my fans, I really don't know what the hell I would do. Yeah, that's the truth, Appreciate the wins, big or not. Everything's a step on the ladder to success. So I'ma bring the flock, they with me all the way to the top. And they gon' know we coming when we hit the stage and start smashing shit like we juggernauts. It's written in the stars, my destiny been hella clear. I see the way my mama been smiling at me from ear to ear. She see her little boy make reality out of hopes and dreams. And we gon' celebrate this like we done made with the whole team. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Give it up for Theory, y'all. Come on.
Hey, I appreciate it, man.
I knew you was gonna kill it. As soon as I heard this beat, it had
Thank
you
you.
written all over it, brother.
Thank you so much.
That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for stopping by FTB Radio.
Hey man, thank you for having me, I appreciate
And
it.
of course, as always, I've been your host with the most.
Yeah.
And we out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, you can tell if you listen to the Carpe Noctem album, the beat selection was very dark and very ominous and very, just it put you in kind of like a real, I don't want to say negative mindset, but like you could feel the pain and you can feel the emotion, kind of in a really downward way. And if you listen to that album and then you listen to Carpe Diem, not only can you hear the growth of me as an artist and finding my style and my voice, how I deliver the lyrics, things like that, all improved over the years. Excuse me. But you'll also hear the difference in the beat selection. Like it's just a total night and day, literally. But it's Carpe Diem is very positive, uplifting. The content is a lot more meaningful. And I loved making that album. It was something I wanted to do for years, was make a sequel to that just to show the growth to everybody. And I got a lot of great feedback on it. I'm still getting great feedback on it to this day. People are, jamming it and I couldn't be more thankful. So.
No, bro, I think it's awesome because I feel like you've incorporated a lot of the old school and you've brought it modern, you've modernized it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if that makes any kind of sense. But I mean,
yeah,
that's what I appreciate because I grew up on a lot of what you grew up on and appreciated that. I mean, those guys were the fucking pioneers of creating great beats and
yeah,
and telling their storylines. It wasn't just, a hook, a couple sentences. Some of these dudes were spitting out just, a whole,
Yeah.
Easy E, all them dudes. I mean, they could tell a story,
yeah,
and just put it in, articulate it in such a way. And they're in the beats always, the West Coast beats for me were always banging. I mean,
Yeah.
I just the West Coast rap was always something for me, and I appreciate a lot of the East Coast stuff too.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang Clan,
Of course.
Big Pop, Big Pop, all that stuff. Like I love all that stuff, but West Coast is where I grew up, so I grew up with Tupac,
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre,
Yeah.
all those kind of things, and I appreciate what you guys are doing, bro. I mean, and
Thank you.
you could tell you're honing in on your art, man.
Yeah.
For you
I'm
only
in a
doing it
very
as long as you've been doing it. You said 5 years.
yeah.
It blows me away, bro. I mean, where you're at and what you're able to do, and it's great to see people out there that are independent and do everything on their own. But a lot of people out there don't realize how hard that is to do too, man. Right? And
extremely.
and
it was a
how
big
many
learning
hours?
curve.
I mean, you probably dedicated a lot of your time into this now, right? I mean,
100%.
yeah.
It's actually it's mind blowing to me when I've sat and thought about that a couple different times, where I'm looking at my studio and like the stuff that I have now, like the equipment and whatnot, like looking at it now from where I was when I recorded my first album. The whole Carpe Diem album was recorded on a Lenovo laptop, and I had an Android phone. I'm team iPhone all day now, but before
buddy.
I was an Android user, and
That's my phone. You won't ever go back.
yeah, I know, I swear. So but I had an Android phone, and I hooked up I bought a $63 mic from Amazon, and it was like a mic that had a little arm that clamped onto the table, and it was a USB mic. So I plugged it into the USB on my Lenovo laptop. I fucking used a program called Audacity to record my lyrics, and then I sent it. I would bounce those out, export them as MP3s, and I would send those songs to my buddy Ritual of Ether, who is ungodly talented at producing beats and engineering, and a very good rapper also. He's a friend of mine, and he was like, I'll mix and master your album, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing at that time. And he was like, I'll mix and master your album for you. I'll do it for you for cheap. And I was like, cool, I appreciate that. So it was $75 a song. There was 8 songs on it. It cost me $600 to get that album mixed and mastered. And that's not really a lot of money compared to what people are paying, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars just for a beat.
Yeah.
It's like, at that time, it was a lot of money for me. So I put $600 into the first album, and then I hated going to studios and paying for studio time. So I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to learn how to do it myself. So I met an artist named Ryan Watts, who is one of my best friends to this day. He lives in Louisville. Well, he lives in Mount Washington, but it's like 30 minutes away from me, right outside of Louisville. And he and I met through a mutual friend, Drumma. Drumma is another very talented artist that I know that lives in Louisville. And Drumma introduced me and Ryan Watts, and Ryan and I became very good friends. And he was one of those people who recorded, mixed, and mastered his own music and did all his own stuff. So I learned from him, and he taught me the ins and outs of like how to use some of these plugins and how to make your vocals sound more crisp and how to do these effects on things. And so I bought my own equipment, and I spent like $700 on a full studio setup. I got 2 little 5-inch speaker monitors. I got a legitimate condenser microphone. I got like a little USB interface, and a microphone stand and some studio headphones and all the cords and everything. I spent like $700, and I recorded myself on that, and I just started teaching myself off of what he laid the foundation for me on. And at that point, I was like, all right, I'm in a position now where I want to start upgrading my equipment. And now I got top of the line shit in my studio, and I have a really good sound and a lot of really great quality music. So other artists hear it and they'll want to come record with me at my studio. And then so that's another way that I make my money, because I'm not only using my GI Bill. I'm a stay-at-home dad. So I use my GI Bill. I take my online courses at Full Sail University for the music production and audio engineering. And then I live off of that GI Bill money and my disability. And my wife works full-time as a server and bartender. And Berserk is our roommate also, and he has 2 jobs. But, I stay home. I upkeep the house. I do my schoolwork and stuff. And I'm learning even more cool shit on how to do it on a professional level. Because a lot of Full Sail graduates, the real good ones that take it serious, they go on to like be nominated for and sometimes win Grammys for their production and their engineering. So Full Sail is a very, very prestigious entertainment arts school. And so with that being said, I upgraded all my equipment, and now people want to come to me to record. So I'll charge people, X amount of dollars an hour. I do 40 an hour. Just because it's a home studio. I'm in a shed that's in my backyard that I, turned into a studio, and it looks legit, but, I still, I'm going to raise that price up, quite a bit once I get my degrees, but that's how I make some side money, because people like my sound and people like the quality of my work. So, I sell beats on the side also.
Yeah.
And,
oh yeah, bro.
It's just kind of side hustle, man. And I'm always teaching myself something new. And, I just love it, man. I don't even know what I would do if I couldn't make music. Like, I can't even picture my life without it. So
that's great.
So,
bro, before we decide to head out here, what is the big future for yourself, dude? Like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, or where would you hope to see yourself, in the next 5 years or so?
So back in September or November of 2023, I signed to an independent record label called Big Homiez Records. They're based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Great couple guys, Brian Carell and Chico Lemus. They came together and started the label. And they sought me out. So that was really cool. That I was discovered
out.
And and they were like super interested in getting me signed. And Chico has a lot of really big industry connections, like with Th30ry Records, with Virgin Records. He knows a lot of real big artists like Exhibit. He knows DJ Quick. I got to open up for DJ Quick and meet DJ Quick and hang out with him at Chico's house. Like, yeah, it was nuts. I remember being like, 11, 12 years old, listening to DJ Quick. And here I am eating dinner,
breaking bread with him now.
Yeah, in Chico's garage, like just sitting eating fucking food that Chico's wife made on a styrofoam plate, just with this icon in rap music. And I'm just like, oh my God. So like, Chico's got a lot of really big connections with a lot of venues, a lot of artists, a lot of labels. So in the next 5 years, man, and probably sooner, a lot sooner, a lot of really big things are going to be happening with that label. We just got a green light to be present and potentially perform at the Lowrider Super Show in Las Vegas in October, which is huge because they have 50,000 plus people that go to that. And, if I'm able to hit the stage and even do 1 or 2 songs, that's an incredible experience. So a lot of growth, man. I see myself just building that fan base and getting noticed more, and working with bigger artists. I've had the pleasure of working with a couple of bigger ones. I've got a song with Chris Calico and Jaron Benton called "What the Rock Is Cooking," and I've got a song with Binks. He's that's the homie, but he's a bigger name in the industry, and we're close. Like, I can hit him up on FaceTime right now and just be like, yo, what's up? Just want to check on you. How you doing? It's cool to have that kind of relationship. So with him, also, kind of opening some doors for me too, and giving me advice, and just creating those connections with these bigger artists, and doing music and collaborating with bigger artists, to put me in a position to be heard by more people, and get that exposure. just showcase myself to the world, man. I see a lot of growth. I see a lot of forward movement. I see a lot more shows, a lot bigger shows. And you know, I'm in it till the wheels fall off. So shout out to Big Homiez Records for allowing the opportunities, man, and believing in me the way that I believe in myself, and seeing in me what I see in myself, and wanting to really put forth the effort to make that a reality. So a lot of growth, man. A lot of growth.
I love it. So before we head out, man, let everybody know where they can find you, and you know, leave any last minute words that you like to say to everybody before we head out.
Yeah. So I'm on all social medias. You can look me up on like Facebook, you know, just type in Th30, Th30ry. The number 30 is in the name. A lot of people mistake that 0 for an O. It is the number 30. I was 30 when I started rapping, so it's kind of the whole play on words with that. So Th30, Th30ry. On Instagram, it's Th30_official. TikTok, I think I'm Th30 and the number 2 and then official. But you can look me up. Just look up Th30 on any platform. You'll find me. Same thing on Spotify, Apple Music. You can stream my music anywhere you can. Anywhere you can stream music. A lot of the bigger ones, you know, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube. And I'm just really thankful to Brian and a lot of the guys that we've been, you know, that I've been able to fortunately meet, that are fellow veterans that are, you know, enjoying the content and the music, man. So thank you for having me as a guest, man. I love this kind of stuff, and I love with the being able to help and be a part of that veteran community. It's something I always wanted to continue to do. So, and then lastly, I want to thank all the fans and you know, future fans, man. I there would be no Th30 without any of you guys. So if you've ever supported me, thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. And I hope you guys enjoy the new stuff, because the new stuff that we're working on is pretty epic. So
hell yeah, bro. I tell you what, I'm a big fan, and I'm glad that I came across you and got to you know, hear your music. And bro, I'm a big fan. Like I said, downloaded all your music, and
it's my wife. Just
hey, hello.
she wanted to show her face.
It's all good. But man, like I said, I appreciate you, brother, and
yeah,
keep
thank
doing
you,
it, man. I'm a big fan of especially our fellow brothers and sisters out there that are still out there trying to do it right. I mean,
absolutely,
you're putting your heart and soul into this, and I think it just takes time to get you into the right ears, bro, and you're gonna blow up big time, man. I mean, I see it, bro, and we'll be having,
too, man.
And hopefully your ass ain't gonna be so big time. I'm gonna have to like try to get you on my show through some like third party. You know what
man,
I mean?
I've made it a very, very clear point to everybody that ever scouts me out, and is one of the things that I said to Big Homiez. You know, I was like, the thing that I'm never going to do is ever forget where I came from. I'm a very firm believer that those people that were there when you had nothing and who genuinely support you on that come up deserve the same kind of access, you know, when you're making it. And I will never forget the people who helped. You know what I mean? If you truly supported and you were genuine about it, and you didn't do it because you had some malicious intent behind it, you know, or you wanted some money out of me later or something, then that's different. But I always appreciate the genuine support, man. It means more than you guys really know. So,
nah, dude, you're a legit good human, though, man. You know what I mean? You just gotta.
Thank you. I try, man.
Yeah, you just got a good personality, bro. You carry yourself well. You know, I mean, I appreciate you, bro. Like I said, I'm glad I came across you, man.
Yeah.
And you know, it's more than just like a interview. This is we're friends now, bro. And like I'll be following you and making sure, you know, watching you all the way through.
Yeah,
and
man.
hopefully one of those days I'll get some backstage passes and shit.
I got
and,
you, man.
know,
I got you. For
I'll
sure.
be that old man still ready to go, though.
I got you, man. And that's kind of the biggest reason why I enjoy what I do. Also, one of the biggest reasons is because, like you said, for our brothers and sisters who are also struggling, and doing what they're doing. And it can go for any walk of life, whether you're a painter, whether you're a comedian, whether you're this, whether you're that, whatever your dream is. A big message that I always try to, include in my music is no matter what your goals and aspirations and dreams are, you should go after them. And if you feel passionate enough and you love it enough, put in the work and you can do it too. Like, tune out all that negativity and just tunnel fucking vision on whatever you see for yourself and make it happen. If you love it enough, you will find a way to make it work. So there's no excuses, and that's a big thing that I try to keep as a message in my music is like, it doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter about the haters. It doesn't matter about the naysayers or the people who don't believe. Tune that out and do what you love. So
100.
Yeah.
Great message, man. And Ryan, Th30ry, appreciate you, brother, coming on and telling your story, talking about your experiences and sharing your music with all of us, bro.
Yeah.
Like I said, big fan, and we'll be making sure we share it and try to get everybody out there listening to you. Everybody go out there, make sure you're following Th30ry on all platforms. And once again, brother, appreciate you, and have an amazing day, amazing week. And
you as well, man.
Keep in touch, man.
Of course. I'm here, man. Anytime you want to have me back on the show.
We'll be seeing each other, I'm sure, on the tip of the spear and stuff like that. So
I already told those guys, anytime that you guys want me to, pop my head in,
every damn time. So
more than happy to do it, man. So
all right, brother.
See each other for sure. Thanks a lot for having me today, man.
Thank you, man. We'll see you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, friends and family. Well, I told you guys that was going to be a good one. And like I said, go check out all his stuff, man. Go check out his music. Go check out. It doesn't cost a thing to go out there and download all this stuff. It's completely free. So go like it. And it's the best way to help him get out there, and he is just an awesome human being and down to earth as hell. And I appreciate him, and hope you guys are out there doing all right. Like I said, let's check on each other. Don't forget about your loved ones, your friends. Do a little bit more than a text sometimes. Sometimes you got to reach out and talk to someone and make sure they're doing good, hear their voice. Because a lot of times when you ask someone how they're doing, they're like, I'm good. But sometimes they're not always so good. But anyhow, we do it. Don't let the day kick your ass. Make sure you're out there kicking it. Until next time. Arr.